Some Ducati motorcycles are worth every penny. Others can drain your wallet long after the excitement of purchase day is gone. The problem is that they often look exactly the same. Today, we're exposing 6 Ducatis to avoid and 8 that are genuinely worth buying. And stick around for number 1. It completely changes what most riders think they know about Ducati ownership. But first, our countdown begins with a Ducati that looks like a bargain until the real cost of ownership starts showing up. Number 6. Ducati Monster 696. The Monster 696 enters this countdown with something most motorcycles would envy: reputation. Few names in motorcycling carry the same weight as Monster. Low stance, exposed trellis frame, pure Italian attitude. For many riders, this was the Ducati that made exotic ownership feel attainable. And that is exactly where the trap begins. Beneath the styling sits a 696 cubic centimeter air-cooled L-twin, producing roughly 80 horsepower. When new, it offered an exciting blend of agility, character, and everyday usability. Today, clean examples can often be found between $4,000 and $6,500, a price range that tempts riders looking for an affordable entry into the Ducati world. But ownership is not measured by the purchase price. The component demanding the closest attention is the desmodromic valve train. The moment major service intervals arrive, the financial picture starts to change. Valve inspections, adjustments, timing belt replacement, and specialized labor can generate bills that feel surprisingly large compared to what the motorcycle itself is worth. Then come the frustrations that many owners never budget for. Fuel tank deformation complaints became a familiar discussion point among riders from this era. Charging system issues and intermittent electrical faults also surfaced often enough to earn attention. None of these problems are guaranteed. The problem is that they are expensive when they do appear. If you're the kind of rider who believes ownership costs matter just as much as horsepower, hit that like button and subscribe. That's what helps us keep digging past marketing promises and exposing the motorcycles that cost far more than buyers expect. And if the Monster 696 is a nimble gateway drug for urban riders, our next spot represents the ultimate, intoxicating upgrade that can quickly turn into a nightmare. Number 5. Ducati Multistrada 1200 first generation. If the Monster 696 teaches buyers that a low purchase price can hide expensive upkeep, the first-generation Multistrada 1200 reveals a completely different danger: technology. When this motorcycle arrived, it felt like a glimpse into the future. Ride modes, traction control, electronic suspension, a powerful superbike-derived engine. Ducati was not simply building an adventure tourer, it was attempting to redefine the category. And for a while, it succeeded. At the heart of the machine sat a 1,198 cubic centimeter Testastretta L-twin, producing roughly 150 horsepower. Even today, the performance feels impressive. Used examples can often be found between $6,000 and $10,000, which sounds like remarkable value for a motorcycle that once commanded a premium price. Then reality enters the picture. The component demanding the closest attention is the electronic suspension and control system. On paper, the technology was groundbreaking. And even if this level of electronic sophistication sounds impressive, wait until we reach number 8 in the must-buy section. That motorcycle proves the smartest Ducati ownership experience isn't always the one with the most technology, but we'll come back to that later. Now back to the first-generation Multistrada 1200. As these motorcycles aged, however, owners began encountering sensor failures, dashboard problems, fuel level issues, and electronic faults that often required specialized diagnostics rather than simple repairs. That is what makes this Multistrada risky. Not lack of performance, not lack of comfort, complexity. The more systems involved, the more opportunities exist for expensive surprises. Yet electronic headaches are only one side of the ownership equation. Some riders willingly accept those risks in exchange for serious performance. The trouble begins when performance itself starts demanding sacrifices. Imagine standing in front of a bike you want, the seller swearing it's perfect. That's where riders overpay by thousands on a $10,000 bike. Our buyer's kit tells you what it's really worth, your fair price, and when to walk away. A wrong bike costs thousands. This kit, just $49. The easiest money you'll ever save. Scan the QR on the right or tap the link in the description. Let's get that bike you've always wanted for even cheaper. And that brings us to the next step down the countdown. A machine whose superbike pedigree comes attached to superbike level upkeep. Number 4, Ducati 848. Some motorcycles sell a dream the moment you see them. The Ducati 848 is one of those machines. Low, aggressive, and unmistakably Italian, it carried the exotic presence of Ducati's flagship superbikes, while appearing just attainable enough for riders who wanted a taste of that world without spending top-tier money. And that is exactly what made it so tempting. Built around an 849 cubic centimeter Testastretta Evoluzione L twin, producing roughly 134 horsepower, the 848 delivered thrilling acceleration and razor-sharp handling. Today, clean examples often trade between $6,000 and $10,000, making them look like a bargain in the used sport bike market. Then ownership begins. The component that deserves the closest inspection is the charging system, particularly the stator and regulator rectifier assembly. Throughout the model's lifespan, charging-related complaints became one of the most common concerns among owners. Weak charging performance, overheated connectors, and electrical frustrations could transform excitement into aggravation surprisingly quickly. But the larger issue is commitment. Desmodromic valve services, timing belt replacements, premium components, and demanding maintenance schedules mean this motorcycle asks far more from its owner than its purchase price suggests. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever owned a Ducati that looked like a bargain until the maintenance bills started arriving? Or maybe you've owned one that completely exceeded expectations. Leave a comment below, because real ownership stories help future buyers avoid expensive mistakes that spec sheets never reveal. The 848 delivers genuine Ducati superbike thrills, but it asks owners to pay for those thrills every time service comes due. Still, there is one category of Ducati that can quietly drain a wallet even faster. Not because it is more powerful, but because many buyers underestimate what living with it actually requires. That misunderstanding opens the door to the next machine in our ranking. Number 3, Ducati Hypermotard 1100. This is where the countdown becomes more complicated, because unlike some motorcycles on this list, the Hypermotard 1100 is not easy to dislike. Quite the opposite. For many riders, it is one of the most addictive machines Ducati has ever produced. Wide handlebars, instant torque, a tall supermoto stance that makes every back road feel like a playground. And that is exactly why so many buyers overlook its weaknesses. Powered by a 1,078 cubic centimeter air-cooled Desmodue L twin, producing roughly 90 horsepower, the Hypermotard delivers character in massive doses. Clean used examples typically sell between $5,000 and $10,000, which can make ownership seem surprisingly attainable. Then the service schedule arrives. The component demanding the closest attention is the desmodromic valve, train and timing belt system. The engine itself can be remarkably durable, but keeping it healthy requires consistent attention and specialized maintenance. Many owners are drawn in by the purchase price, only to discover that major service intervals bring expenses they never expected. The challenge goes beyond maintenance alone. Electrical issues, charging-related complaints, and age-sensitive components can add another layer of uncertainty. The Hypermotard wins hearts quickly. The problem is that enthusiasm does not pay workshop invoices, and that reality leads directly to the next motorcycle, where aging exotic bike ownership becomes an even greater financial gamble. Number 2, Ducati 999. This is where the countdown stops being about maintenance bills and starts becoming about time itself. Because the Ducati 999 is not an ordinary used sport bike. It is an aging exotic. For many enthusiasts, that makes it irresistible. Built with Ducati's liquid-cooled Testastretta L twin, engine displacing 998 cubic centimeters, the 999 delivered the kind of performance that helped earn championships around the world. Even today, its styling, racing pedigree, and raw mechanical character continue to attract devoted fans. Clean examples often sell between $6,000 and $12,000, which can make ownership appear surprisingly attainable. The illusion fades once long-term ownership begins. The component demanding the closest attention is the desmodromic valve train and timing belt assembly. Scheduled belt replacements, specialized valve adjustments, and increasingly scarce expertise mean maintaining a 999 is rarely as simple as maintaining a comparable Japanese sport bike. Age creates additional challenges. Electrical faults, charging system complaints, aging connectors, worn seals, and difficult-to-source replacement parts become more common as these motorcycles move further from their production years. The 999 remains a remarkable superbike. The problem is that every passing year makes ownership more demanding. Yet there is still one Ducati that creates an even bigger trap for value-focused buyers. It tempts shoppers with affordability, convinces them they found a bargain, and then slowly hands those savings back through repairs and ownership headaches. That is exactly why the next machine earns the #1 spot on our avoid list. Number 1. Ducati Multistrada 1000 DS. And here it is, the Ducati that earns the top position on this countdown. Not because it lacks character, not because it lacks history, and certainly not because every example is a disaster. The Multistrada 1000 DS lands at number 1 because it combines nearly every ownership concern buyers hope to avoid into a single motorcycle. At first glance, it looks like a bargain. Powered by a 992 cubic centimeter dual-spark Desmodue L-twin, producing roughly 92 horsepower, this early Multistrada can often be found between $3,500 and $6,500. For many riders, that sounds like an inexpensive ticket into the Ducati world. Then ownership begins. The component demanding the closest attention is the electrical system, particularly the charging hardware, regulator rectifier, and aging wiring connections. As these motorcycles move deeper into their second decade, electrical gremlins become increasingly common. Troubleshooting can be frustrating, time-consuming, and far more expensive than buyers expect. Unfortunately, the story does not end there. Desmodromic valve services, scheduled timing belt replacements, neglected maintenance histories, and hard-to-find model-specific components create an ownership experience filled with uncertainty. Some examples have been cared for meticulously. Others have spent years receiving only the bare minimum attention. That unpredictability is what places the Multistrada 1000 DS at the top of this list. The purchase price looks inviting. The long-term commitment often tells a very different story. And that is the lesson running through this entire countdown. The cheapest Ducati is not always the most affordable Ducati. From aging electronics and demanding service schedules to hidden repair exposure and rising parts costs, these motorcycles prove that the real price of ownership begins long after the money changes hands. Up to this point, we've looked at Ducati motorcycles that range from maintenance-heavy projects to some of the biggest ownership traps the brand has ever produced. So tell us in the comments, which Ducati would you actually trust with your own money today? And while you're there, like the video and subscribe to the channel. The Multistrada 1000 DS represents the point where low purchase prices stop looking like opportunities and start looking like warnings. But this is where the story changes, because Ducati's reputation is not built only on expensive mistakes. Over the years, the company also produced motorcycles that solved many of these ownership concerns, stretched service intervals, improved reliability, and delivered far more value than their price tags suggest. And that shift takes us into the next chapter of this countdown. These are the 8 Ducati motorcycles that genuinely deserve your money. Number 8, Ducati Scrambler Icon. The Ducati Scrambler Icon enters this countdown as the motorcycle that changed everything. Before its arrival, owning a Ducati often meant accepting aggressive ergonomics, intimidating performance, and expensive superbike expectations. Then Bologna introduced something completely different, something welcoming. The Scrambler Icon was never designed to dominate racetracks. It was built to remind riders why they fell in love with motorcycles in the first place. At its heart sits Ducati's proven 803 cubic centimeter air-cooled L-twin, an engine that produces roughly 73 horsepower while delivering torque in a smooth, predictable wave. Around town, it feels light, eager, and effortlessly enjoyable. Twisty back roads reveal even more charm because this motorcycle thrives on involvement rather than outright speed. Visually, the teardrop fuel tank and signature round headlight instantly separate it from everything else on the road. It looks timeless without feeling outdated. Used examples commonly trade between roughly $5,500 and $8,000, making Ducati ownership surprisingly attainable. Better still, the simple air-cooled platform keeps maintenance demands lower than many motorcycles wearing the famous Italian badge. The Scrambler Icon earns this spot because it offers the purest, least intimidating path into Ducati ownership. But accessibility only carries a motorcycle so far. The next machine proves what happens when Ducati blends everyday practicality with performance, serious enough to completely reshape expectations. Number 7. Ducati Monster 821. Some motorcycles become so important that they eventually define the entire brand. For Ducati, that motorcycle is the Monster. And among the modern generation, the Monster 821 may be the smartest all-around purchase Bologna ever created. This machine arrived to occupy the middle ground of the lineup, and that position turned out to be exactly its greatest strength. Beneath the muscular fuel tank sits Ducati's liquid-cooled 821 cubic centimeter Testastretta L-twin, delivering well over 100 horsepower with the unmistakable surge of mid-range torque Ducati riders crave. Twist the throttle leaving a corner, and the response feels immediate, urgent, and deeply satisfying. What truly separates the Monster 821 is balance. It delivers authentic Ducati performance without demanding the compromises associated with larger, more extreme machines. Comfortable ergonomics, refined electronics, and predictable handling make it equally at home commuting through weekday traffic or attacking your favorite back road. Visually, the exposed steel trellis frame remains the star of the show. It is the styling signature that transformed the Monster into a worldwide icon. Clean used examples commonly range from roughly $6,000 to $9,500, and owners consistently praise the platform's durability when properly maintained. The Monster 821 earns this spot because it captures the heart of Ducati ownership in one remarkably complete package. But completeness is not always the ultimate goal. The next motorcycle sacrifices nothing in performance while proving that everyday comfort does not have to disappear when speed enters the equation. Number 6. Ducati SuperSport 950. Here is the motorcycle that quietly solved one of Ducati's oldest problems. For decades, riders loved Ducati superbikes, but living with them every single day often demanded compromise. The SuperSport 950 changed that conversation. Beneath the sleek bodywork sits Ducati's proven 937 cubic centimeter Testastretta L-twin, delivering strong acceleration and a broad spread of torque without the intimidating intensity of the Panigale family. Twist the throttle on a winding back road, and the response feels eager. Spend hours on the interstate, and the riding position remains remarkably accommodating. That balance is exactly why this motorcycle earns its place on this list. It captures the emotion and visual drama Ducati is famous for while remaining genuinely practical for everyday American roads. The redesigned fairing and iconic single-sided swing arm give the SuperSport unmistakable presence, borrowing heavily from Ducati's exotic superbike heritage. Used examples commonly range from roughly $9,000 to $14,000, and owners consistently praise the mature engineering and strong reliability of the platform. But even with its versatility, it remains a machine built primarily for pavement. The next motorcycle expands the mission entirely, because for riders who see an unpaved road as an invitation rather than an obstacle, the next chapter of Ducati ownership requires something far more adventurous. Number 5. Ducati DesertX. When Ducati first revealed the DesertX, plenty of riders doubted it. Ducati had spent decades building exotic sport machines, not motorcycles meant to disappear into the wilderness for days at a time. Then the deserts reached riders, and skepticism quickly turned into respect. Powered by Ducati's 937 cubic centimeter Testastretta L twin, the DesertX delivers the kind of performance most adventure motorcycles can only dream about. Open highway miles feel effortless, mountain switchbacks reveal surprising agility, and when the pavement ends, the motorcycle never feels out of place. That versatility is exactly why it earns this position. Few Ducatis in history have been capable of doing so many things so well. For the visual highlight, focus on the long travel suspension, massive front wheel, and distinctive twin-round headlights. Together, they give the DesertX a genuine rally-inspired identity rather than simply projecting adventure bike styling. Used examples commonly range from roughly $13,000 to $18,000, and although prices remain strong, extended service intervals significantly improve long-term ownership value. Early owners also continue reporting impressive durability and dependable electronics. The DesertX showcases just how capable Ducati has become outside traditional sport bike territory. It can travel farther, explore deeper, and handle conditions many riders never expected from the brand. Yet adventure capability is not every rider's definition of excitement. Some riders want something lighter, more immediate, and more playful every time they twist the throttle. That desire for pure engagement shifts the spotlight toward the next machine. Number 4. Ducati Hypermotard 950. Not every motorcycle is built around logic. Some machines exist for a far simpler reason: to make you laugh inside your helmet. That is exactly what the Ducati Hypermotard 950 does. From the moment the engine fires, this motorcycle feels mischievous. Powered by Ducati's 937 cubic centimeter Testastretta L twin, the Hypermotard delivers explosive mid-range thrust and razor-sharp throttle response. Yet the real magic has nothing to do with horsepower figures. It comes from the way this motorcycle transforms even the most familiar road into something exciting. A quick ride to the coffee shop suddenly turns into the long way home. That is why the Hypermotard earns this position. Few motorcycles at any price deliver this much entertainment at perfectly legal road speeds. Visually, nothing defines the motorcycle more than the high-mounted dual exhaust tucked beneath the seat. Combined with the tall handlebars, slim bodywork, and aggressive stance, the Hypermotard looks rebellious standing still. Used examples generally range from around $10,000 to $15,000. Longer service intervals, refined electronics, and the proven Testastretta platform have also made ownership far less intimidating than earlier generations. The Hypermotard delivers an addictive riding experience built around agility, character, and fun. It reminds riders that numbers alone do not determine excitement, but eventually some enthusiasts begin asking for more than playfulness. They want sharper performance, greater precision in a motorcycle that brings them closer to Ducati's racing DNA without sacrificing everyday usability. That ambition leads directly to the next step forward. Number 3. Ducati Streetfighter V2. Now we arrive at the point in this countdown where compromise begins to disappear. The Ducati Streetfighter V2 is not simply a naked motorcycle. It is a superbike that decided to trade racetrack discomfort for real-world freedom. Built around Ducati's 955 cubic centimeter V-twin, the Streetfighter delivers breathtaking acceleration and an endless wave of usable power. Open the throttle exiting a corner, and the motorcycle responds with an urgency that feels unmistakably Italian. Yet, unlike many high-performance machines, it never punishes its rider for choosing public roads over closed circuits. That balance is exactly why this motorcycle earns a podium position. It captures nearly all of the excitement of the Panigale while demanding far fewer sacrifices from the person in the saddle. Visually, the MotoGP-inspired winglets immediately command attention. Combined with the aggressive front end and compact chassis, they create one of the most intimidating silhouettes Ducati has ever produced. Used examples typically range between $13,000 and $17,000, and owners continue praising the platform's refinement, build quality, and dependable electronics. The Streetfighter V2 offers one of the best blends of performance and practicality in Ducati's modern lineup. It captures much of the brand's superbike spirit while remaining surprisingly usable on public roads. Yet for riders who want the purest expression of that performance philosophy, there is still another level waiting ahead. The next machine removes the compromises, sharpens the focus, and moves closer to the heart of Ducati's sport bike legacy. Number 2, Ducati Panigale V2. When most riders imagine the perfect Ducati, this is the motorcycle that appears in their mind. Sharp bodywork, exotic proportions, the unmistakable sound of an Italian V-twin. The Panigale V2 represents everything that made Ducati legendary, distilled into a package that real riders can actually enjoy. At the heart of the machine sits Ducati's 955 cubic centimeter Super Quattro V-twin, delivering thrilling acceleration and a riding experience that feels special every time the starter button is pressed. Yet what makes the Panigale V2 so impressive is not outright power, it is accessibility. Unlike larger superbikes that can feel overwhelming on public roads, this motorcycle encourages riders to explore its capabilities rather than fear them. That balance is precisely why it earns the runner-up position. For many enthusiasts, this is the ultimate Ducati sport bike. It delivers breathtaking performance, razor-sharp handling, and unmistakable racing pedigree without crossing into excess. Visually, the elegant single-sided swing arm remains a centerpiece of the design. Combined with the sculpted fairings and aggressive stance, the motorcycle looks like rolling Italian artwork. Used examples typically range from roughly $14,000 to $18,000, while owners consistently praise the platform's refinement, durability, and manageable ownership costs compared with larger superbike models. Now I'm curious about your take. If you could only have one Ducati sport bike in your garage, would you choose the Panigale V2 or step up to one of the bigger V4 models? Leave a comment below and tell us why, because it's one of the biggest debates among Ducati enthusiasts, and the answers are always interesting. The Panigale V2 represents everything enthusiasts love about Ducati: performance, engineering, heritage, and unmistakable character. For many riders, it is already more motorcycle than they will ever fully use. But our number one position is not reserved for the fastest Ducati. It is reserved for the Ducati that delivers the most complete ownership experience, the motorcycle that serves the widest range of riders, handles the broadest range of situations, and provides the strongest combination of performance, comfort, reliability, and long-term value. And that brings us to the final machine in this countdown. Number 1, Ducati Multistrada V4. And here we are. After climbing through naked bikes, sport machines, adventure motorcycles, and superbikes, only one Ducati remains. And while this choice may surprise riders expecting a race-bred icon, the deeper you look at the ownership experience, the harder it becomes to argue against. The Ducati Multistrada V4 is the best motorcycle Ducati currently builds. Not because it is the fastest, not because it is the most aggressive, because it does everything exceptionally well. At the heart of the motorcycle sits Ducati's 1158 cubic centimeter Gran Turismo V4 engine, delivering immense power with a level of refinement previous generations could only dream about. Acceleration is effortless. Highway passing feels instantaneous. Yet what truly separates this machine is how relaxed it remains while doing all of it. Long-distance touring, daily commuting, mountain roads, two-up travel, cross-country adventures. The Multistrada approaches each task with remarkable confidence. The visual centerpiece is the Gran Turismo V4 itself, an engine that signaled a major turning point in Ducati history. By moving away from the traditional desmodromic valve system, Ducati dramatically extended service intervals and reduced long-term maintenance demands. Used examples commonly range from roughly $16,000 to $25,000, but ownership value extends far beyond the initial purchase price. Reliability has proven impressive, durability continues to earn praise, and the overall experience feels engineered around real riders rather than marketing brochures. That is why the Multistrada V4 stands at number 1. Not because it excels in a single category, because it excels in nearly all of them. And that's what separates a smart Ducati purchase from an expensive Ducati lesson. The motorcycles on this side of the list don't just impress during the test ride, they continue making sense years down the road, after the maintenance bills, after the service appointments, and after the honeymoon period is over. But Ducati is only one corner of the motorcycle world. Our next video uncovers another group of motorcycles that riders either swear by or wish they had never bought. The surprises waiting there might be even bigger than the ones you saw today. Click the next video and continue the road trip. Join our tribe by subscribing, and don't forget to like this video.